the largest private employers in the country, Amazon, is reportedly planning to replace more than 500,000 jobs with robots.
Amazon reportedly putting 30,000 corporate jobs on the chopping block.
The unemployment rate for new college grads has recently surged, and some economists say businesses are now replacing entry-level jobs with artificial intelligence.
The global economy is a machine with 3.5 billion moving parts. Human workers. And we're about to replace half of them with software. The ripple effects won't just change industries, they'll reshape the fundamental logic of how civilization operates.
There's one chart that explains why your DMs are full of, bro, the job market is cooked.
What?
In 2025, US employers announced nearly 1.2 million job cuts. That's more than the entire population of Amsterdam, wiped off the payroll. The replacement hires? Under 500,000, down 35% from last year.
But what the hell, boy?
Imagine erasing Amsterdam and only rebuilding half of it. For every 2 people who lost their job, less than 1 new position exists. The rest? Left with nowhere to land. That gap is the story. Welcome. Let's talk about what's actually happening. Layoffs alone don't define a job market. Hiring does. Because layoffs can be normal, if hiring stays strong. But when job cuts rise while planned hires fall, fewer people can land after getting displaced. Now, the obvious question is, what's driving this? The short answer? It's not one thing. The Challenger report lists multiple reasons: restructuring, closures, market conditions, and also something new showing up: artificial intelligence. In 2025, AI was officially cited for nearly 55,000 job cuts in the US alone. Globally, over 166,000 tech roles were cut, with tens of thousands explicitly tied to automation. The real number? Nobody's tracking it. Most companies don't say, AI took this job. They say, restructuring, because restructuring sounds better than replaced by software. Same outcome, cleaner headline. Important caveat, that doesn't mean AI caused every layoff this year. But it does mean AI is now part of the formal justification companies use. And that matters, because once something becomes a line item, it becomes a habit. Now here's what most executives won't say on the record. Klarna's CEO, the guy who cut 59% of his workforce and called his company OpenAI's favorite guinea pig. After slashing his workforce with AI, he said, "I feel a lot of my tech bros are being slightly not to the point on this topic." That's billionaire speak for, they know what's coming and they're not telling you. They're lying. He's not. He's saying the quiet part out loud. A lot of leaders are sugarcoating what AI plus restructuring is about to do to knowledge work. Klarna has also said its workforce shrank from about 5,000 to almost 3,000, in part due to AI investments and natural attrition. So the real story isn't AI is taking all jobs tomorrow. It's simpler and more realistic. Companies are replacing tasks first. Then the job title becomes paperwork. Tech is where these changes get tested first. Because tech moves fast, and because software can replace software-adjacent work faster than it can replace physical work. One tracker, Layoffs.fyi, shows 122,549 tech employees laid off in 2025 so far. But the deeper shift is what happens to early career workers. Goldman Sachs notes that unemployment among 20 to 30-year-olds in tech-exposed occupations has risen by almost 3 percentage points since the start of 2025, more than comparable groups. So if you're a student thinking, I'll just go into tech, the pipeline isn't gone. It's just narrower, and it demands more. And the scary part is, this doesn't stay in tech. Because tech doesn't just make apps. Tech makes tools, and tools spread. Customer service is next. It's repetitive, measurable, and expensive at scale. The perfect target. You might have heard 95% of customer service will be AI by the end of the year. That's not what the major forecasts actually say. Gartner's real prediction: by 2029, agentic AI will autonomously resolve 80% of common customer service issues. No human intervention. And 85% of customer service leaders are already piloting this in 2025. So this isn't instant replacement. It's mass rollout, like a software update you can't decline. But remember Klarna, the company that cut from 5,000 to 3,000? They didn't just talk about AI replacing customer service, they actually did it. In 2024, they claimed their AI chatbot could do the work of 700 employees, handled 2.3 million chats a month. Resolution times improved, costs dropped. Their CEO said, on record, AI can already do all of the jobs that we as humans can do. Headlines celebrated. Investors loved it. Then reality hit. Customers complained about robotic responses, endless loops, zero empathy. The bot couldn't handle nuance, refunds, disputes, anything off script. By mid-2025, the same CEO admitted cost was too predominant a factor. What you end up with is lower quality. Klarna is now hiring humans back. But here's the twist, not as employees, as gig workers, Uber style. Flexible schedules, work from anywhere, no job security. So even when AI fails, the jobs don't come back the same way. They come back worse. And Klarna isn't an outlier. IBM surveyed 2,000 CEOs. Only 1 in 4 AI projects actually delivers the ROI it promised. 1 in 4. But 64% of those same CEOs said they invest in AI anyway, because they're afraid of falling behind. Companies are cutting humans for AI that doesn't fully work yet, because everyone else is doing it. That's not strategy. That's panic dressed as innovation. Now look at who else sits in the blast radius. The Philippines built a $38 billion industry answering customer service calls for American banks, Australian telecoms, British retailers. 1.82 million workers, and 86% of them already use AI tools every day. So why are they at risk if they're becoming more efficient? Because they don't own the AI. They use it, but OpenAI, Google, and Salesforce own it. And here's what efficiency actually means in outsourcing. When AI gets good enough, companies don't need to outsource anymore. The call center worker in Manila is essentially training her own replacement every time she corrects the chatbot's mistakes. That's the value chain trap. You increase productivity. The platform captures the profit. Then the platform replaces you. Same pattern in physical work, just with steel instead of software. In 2024, companies installed 542,000 industrial robots globally. Asia absorbed 74% of them. These are chatbots. They're machines that lift, sort, pack, weld. The backbone work of manufacturing and logistics. Now here's what happens to workers nearby. Economists Acemoglu and Restrepo found that 1 robot per 1,000 workers suppresses wages by up to 0.5%. That sounds tiny until you do the math. The average warehouse worker in the US makes about $37,000 a year. A 0.5% cut is $185 per person. Multiply that across 1.5 million warehouse workers. That's $275 million in annual wages that quietly vanishes from working-class paychecks. Not fired, just poorer. Now the blueprint that changes everything. Leaked Amazon documents show plans to avoid hiring 600,000 US workers by 2033 through automation. The savings? 30 cents per package. Sounds invisible, until you remember Amazon ships over 5 billion packages a year. Those 30 cents add up to $1.5 billion annually. From 2025 to 2027, that's $12.6 billion. Amazon disputes these documents reflect official strategy. Fine, but the math is already public. And once the world's largest logistics company proves automation is cheaper, every competitor copies it, or gets priced out. That's not a choice, that's survival. Now, when you look at the global picture, and this is where people get confused, so stay with me. The World Economic Forum says 92 million jobs will be displaced by 2030, but 170 million will be created. Net gain, 78 million jobs. Sounds like a win, right? Here's the problem. Those 92 million jobs being destroyed, they're in customer service, logistics, data entry, manufacturing. Jobs that exist everywhere, require no degree, and pay the bills for working families in Manila, Mumbai, Kentucky, Lagos. The 170 million being created, they're in AI development, robotics engineering, green energy tech. Jobs that cluster in San Francisco, Shenzhen, London. Jobs that require specialized degrees and years of training most displaced workers can't access. So yes, the global number nets positive. But the 40-year-old call center worker in Kentucky isn't becoming a machine learning engineer in Seattle. The warehouse picker in Ohio isn't relocating to a robotics startup in Shanghai. The spreadsheet balances. The humans don't. That's not a labor market transition. That's two different economies moving in opposite directions and pretending it's the same story.
Hit that subscribe button if you want to be ahead of the curve, not behind the narrative. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be ahead of the curve, not behind the narrative. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be ahead of the curve, not behind the narrative.